welcome to the online lecture of ISD 376, Innovations and Entrepreneurship. I'm Dr. Josiah Chan, and I'm very happy today to talk about the process innovations. So definitely process innovations is a very important idea for today's, especially for system engineering students. I'm sure you will have a lot of chance to do about process improvement in your future careers. And innovation is a very important concept. So I'm very excited. I hope you can enjoy the lecture today and learn something about this. Okay. So let me do a very quick introduction of myself. So I consider myself as a someone that is very passionate about process management. So I am both a practitioner and in academics, meaning I study process management, and at the same time I have been working in process management for almost 20 years in my life. So in my job, this is a lot of chances. There are a lot of chances from time to time I have to improve a process and innovate the process. So I hope I can be in a position to combine both the theory and the practical experience to give you some insights, to give you some deeper understanding of process innovations means. Okay, this is what I hope can achieve in these online lectures. And the most important things here is the my email and my contact number here. So if you have any questions for these lectures, if you want to discuss further for any concepts here, feel free to contact me after with this email and number. Okay, so let's look at the agenda for today. So I'm going to divide this online lecture into two parts. So for part one, I hope I can focus on discussing, talking about the why and what of process innovations. So we will start off recapping what are the different types of innovations. So and then explain what is process with innovations and how process with innovations is actually related to other types of innovations. And then we will talk about the benefits and risks of process innovations in order for you to get a better understanding, better feeling of what process innovation means. We would go through a lot of examples. So you can see what is process innovations, what are the process innovations other organizations are doing, and what the benefits this innovations brings. So you would have a better understanding of all this in the first part. In the second part, we would talk about how to do process innovations. So we would introduce design thinking, and then how we are able to do process innovations with design thinking. So innovation is something you cannot just read from the textbook. You cannot just learn from the textbook. Process innovation is something you need to generate new ideas, and then you have to keep try different ideas, try out different things. There are no problems even you fail on this. So the key points is you keep trying some new things. You may fail the first time, it doesn't matter. You just keep on persistent, and then you will find the final success solutions. So I would like to give you an example, so a real life processes, and then I hope you can, based on the things you learned today, to try to innovate that particular process. So in the face-to-face lecture, I can interact with the students, but I think for the online versions, please think about that. Give me some ideas of how you think you can innovate the process. You can send them to me offline. I will, based on your ideas, I will give you some feedback of this. So this is how we're going to learn in this way. It will be more interesting. I'm sure it will be more interesting to do this. So hope you can try it out. And after all this, we will have a summary of what we have learned at the end of these sections. Okay, so this is the plan for today. So when you talk about innovations, most people that comes to their mind is actually product innovations. So innovations to most of the people is about a creations of a new products or an upgrade or an existing products just to make it, have a much better performance, much better features. Um, a typical example of product innovations um, is iPhone. I think like the first iPhones was introduced in 2007, which was about like 14 years ago already. For your age, you may when you when you have your first phone, maybe it's already a smartphone. But for me, it was not the case. So I still remember the time, when iPhone was introduced to the market. It completely changed our way on redefining what a mobile phone was. Basically, in the past, mobile phone to us is basically is very convenient. It can use for basically it's for voice communications. It has applications, but the application is very limited in functions. But iPhone basically changed all this. It is just like a mini computer. You can extend its functions in an unlimited way by installing different types of applications into the phone. And the user interface, the smoothness in using the phone, I think it changed completely our understanding of what a mobile phone can be. So this is a very typical example of what product innovations means. But innovation is not actually just limited to product innovations. We also have like business model innovations and the key topics for today's process innovations. Business model innovations is kind of like it's new ways to deliver a product or services. So the products or the services may not be new, but how you actually deliver that to your customers, how you actually operate your business is something that is new. You may actually changing the game of the business, changing the competitions of the industries. The typical examples is, of course, like Airbnb and Uber. So for Airbnb, so in the traditional hospitality business, right? So usually the service provider has to have their own hotels. They build their own hotels, and then once they finish, they rent out the rooms. People can choose the types of the rooms. They choose the dates they will check in, and then they're being charged, and then at that date they come, and then once they complete that checkout. So this is the traditional way of a hospitality business. But Airbnb basically changed this to instead of having their own properties, what they're doing is actually they build platforms to connect the service providers and the end users. So they don't need to own any hotels at all, but they actually are now the largest hotel services providers in terms of the market value. The same for Uber as well. They don't own any vehicles, but they build a platform that connects the providers and the end customers together. So the services, the way how you understand a hotel business, the way how you understand a taxi business, are completely changed by these companies, by this new business model. So they are examples of like business model innovations. And the last is process innovations. So the definition here is use a combinations of new methods, capabilities, and technologies to produce, market, deliver, and support a product or provide service that creates additional values to the customers. So process innovation is more invisible to the end customers because it's always something that's happened within the company. The companies may not know if you have process innovations or not. They can usually just feel the end outcomes. Maybe you can deliver things much faster with a lower error rate, kind of things like this. So most people will kind of like ignore the importances of process innovations. But actually, that's the point I want to make today, is to argue that actually the other types of innovations, like the product innovations and the business model innovations, all are very closely related to process innovations. Okay. So if you look at this slide, when we go closer for think about like product innovations, how you think product innovation happens. So product innovations is, they need to actually go through some very structured processes, something that's like the one I'm showing here, which is called the innovations funnel. So a lot of organizations, they need to continue to innovate their products. So a lot of organizations actually adopt similar process in their organizations to make sure that they have always have new products that can launch to the market. The process is divided here into 4 different stages. The first is idea generations. The second step is research. The third step is development, and the final one is commercializations. So how it works. At the first stage, as the idea generation stage, the main function of this stage is to generate and collect ideas. So you may have your people to brainstorm, to to think about what are the customer pain points, what are the things that the existing products cannot do. So any new ideas of improving the products, or something that is there are some challenges the customer are feeling today that are not being addressed. So they come up with a lot of different types of ideas. So the technical feasibility or the budget involved in those ideas are not important at this stage. The most important thing is make sure that we collect a lot of different ideas that can be further developed, that can be reviewed. So once you have a list of ideas, you go into the research stage. At this stage, you will then review these ideas, right? Review the ideas to see if they are kind of like connected with your organization strategies. Is this which of them are maybe more feasible for you to do this at that particular point of time? So it's basically a screening and filtering stage. So at this point of time, you will filter out. You may prioritize and focus on a few ideas that you think have a high potential to develop, and there are maybe some ideas that is within your current market, meaning you have new products that align with your existing business domain, but at the same time, there may be something that your organization have never done before, some new services, some new products that are not that have not been existed before, but you still want to have a try. So this is represented by this ball here. So this is something maybe you identify that is not in your current market, but still something that you want to develop as a new product in a new business domain. Okay. So and then once you screen and decide on what ideas you want to invest, then you go to the development stage. In the development stage, you further develop that ideas. So instead of just an ideas, you will prototype into a real product. So you will basically turn that ideas into a real product. So you will have a more understanding of what are the features like that product is going to provide, how that product works. You may do a lot of testing to test those ideas, to test the prototype. So you have a more concrete view of what a product looks like at this point of time. So if you think this is good, it seems something that is wonderful, you want to launch that to the market, then you go to the final commercialization stage. So at this stage, you turn that into really commercial products, meaning maybe you need to decide where you want to sell it, who you're going to sell it to, and then determine the pricing model, how you're going to support this product in the future, like the service level agreement, kinds of things like this. So make this a real product that you can launch to the market. So this is a typical product development process that a lot of organizations actually have today when they keep when they use this to basically to make sure that they have new products that launch to the market. The key point here is that the product innovations is actually supported by a very structured, systematic process behind. If you don't have this kind of processes, there may be a lot of good ideas that cannot be turned into a final product. So the process behind is actually very important. So let me give a more concrete example here. So I'm not sure if you have heard or used Amazon Prime. So this was a paid membership services that was introduced, I think, around 5 years ago, something, yeah, around 5 years ago. So basically, what it is about is it is a membership program. So it gives the frequent shoppers for Amazon's a number of advantages. For example, they will get free or faster shippings. They will get a unlimited streaming of movies. They can, have rent the movies online. They can have photo storage. They can listen to music. A lot of benefits that Amazon's provide to them. And then they may have exclusive discounts. They can buy some products that is only for members only. So this is basically a bundle of different services together. You can imagine by introducing this new products. So this is a new product for Amazon's, right? There are a lot of processes actually need to be created at the back end to support this new product. For example, now in the past, maybe the delivery process is the same for everyone, but now the delivery process needs to be distinguished whether it is a Prime member or not, because for Prime member, they need to deliver faster. So how they're going to do this? So maybe another versions of the process behind, they may need to do the delivery in a different way than the standard users. So by introducing the products, they need to make sure that they have the back-end processes here to support you. Otherwise, the products will not work. So this is what we try to say here. Your brilliant efforts at product innovations will be raised if your process could not support it. So all this need to be supported by the process. So in order to give you a better feeling of like how Amazon Prime works, so I have a video here I want to share with you. So let's enjoy this one.
good grammar and spelling.
Okay. I hope you now know more about Amazon Prime. This is a really a very innovative products, and then yeah, the process need to support that is are very complex, and they definitely they have done a very good job here. So yeah, the key point is the process is the enabler, and actually both the enabler and the driver of different types of innovations. So you know, new product development and operationalizations of business model all need to be supported by the business process behind. So well designed and well executed execution of the business process are actually keys to the success of your product and business model innovations. Um, and process innovations, on one hand, is enabler of the innovations. On the other hand, it can innovate and innovate business process could be driver of product and business model innovation. What it means here for the third sentence here is that um, um, if you have a very innovative business process, I give you an example like Uber. So Uber has built a platform, right, to connect the service providers, someone that can own, can rent out their cars to the end customers. So they now build a platform. The process connecting them is very good, very efficient. Now they can leverage this process to not just doing the taxi business. They can extend it to like Uber is. They can use this to for food delivery as well. So if they have that innovative process ready, they can actually tap on that, and then they can use it to shape their business strategies. In the very beginning, maybe they just focus on the transportation services, but the process actually can be leveraged to bring them into another domain, business domain as well. So this is what it means here. So the process is actually both the enabler and driver of different types of innovations. Okay, and yeah, so this is basically we have explained like what process innovations, how they related to the product innovations and the business model innovations. So you may ask, so why people want to do process innovations? What are the benefits? And at the same time, are there any risks for process innovations? The answers are definitely yes, right? So if no benefits, why other people are doing this? So the benefits of process innovations may be very obvious to you. So it is improve, most of the time it improves productivities, and improved productivity usually comes with the cost reductions. Okay, so you do things more efficiently. So at the same point of time, in the past, you can produce 100 products, and now the process become more efficient. You can produce more. So more meaning, you know, the cost of producing one item is now getting lower. So that is how you can reduce the cost. So you can also improve your market share and revenue. Better processes usually improve the customer experience, make your company more have a competitive advantage. Yeah, you know, you add values and improve customer satisfactions, and finally, it will. If more people are customized, that means more people are going to buy your products. So that's how you improve your market shares, and then when you improve market shares, you can increase your revenue as well. And this is from a end customer perspective. Within the company itself, if your process are you know, a good, efficient, you keep on improving that, very innovative ways to process things, it will make everyone's the work more easier. And you know, if a process are good, the staff may always get good feedbacks from the customers that they're seeing good jobs, they're doing a good jobs. So it research also found that it can improve the staff retentions rate, and then actually more motivate the staff to work motivate the staff to work for the companies. And it improve also law and regulations compliance, because the processes are well defined, the processes are very efficient, so it reduces the chance of the process are broken and then causing in compliance with law and the regulations. There are all the benefits of process innovations, but at the same time there are risks for process innovations, of course, because if you do some innovation, sometimes ideas are easy to copy. So once you have introduced in innovations, if then you may have a competitive advantage with your competitors, but then maybe the people can easily copy your ideas and then they can do the same things, then your advantages will gradually diminish, right? So this is the things why some people don't hesitate to innovate, because they afraid that they invest a lot, but then the ideas may be copied, and then they cannot sustain the advantages they have, maybe just only for a very short time. Then also is you have to invest a lot to do the R&D, or you involve in the process innovations. Every change needs to involve a lot of investments in terms of cost and time and efforts. So this is uncertain commercial returns. Maybe you still maybe you improve you innovate the process, make it better, but whether an innovative process will really bring commercial returns, maybe it does, but it may also take a long time. So this is all a risk. You don't know if your investments can come back within a time you can wait. So the availability of finance and other support are all the risks of doing the process innovations. And so now let's talk about different types of process innovations. Here, I think this is something that Professor Choi has covered before. This is called the O'Reilly Tachman's Innovations Continuum. So at one end of the continuum is the process improvements, meaning you just kind of like doing some incremental innovations, small improvements in existing products. Maybe in terms of a mobile phone, what you're talking about is the camera is a higher resolutions, the monitor is a higher resolution, so it's still the same. It's still the same product, but kind of like the features from a feature perspective is now getting better, more efficient. The quality of the pictures are better than before, but in terms of like the usage, the specifications, in terms of the product itself may not be too much innovations here. So this is called incremental innovations, and usually represented by process improvement. What Six Sigma is usually about is talking about is doing some incremental innovations. This is one end of the spectrums, and at the other end is something very radical. So it's not incremental. It's completely changing the ways how you work compared to before. So like the Uber and Airbnb cases we just mentioned before. So the process of how you rent a taxi, how you rent a room in a hotel, they use a completely new ways to do this. So this is not a small improvement from the existing process. This is basically a completely change of the process. It's still it can serve the initial purpose, but you do it in a completely different way. So this is what we call the process re-engineering. And in the middle of the spectrum is something what we call the architectural innovations. So this is, something just between the two extremes. Usually is because of the technologies or process advancements. So you are able to change a component or a part of the processes, make it more efficient, make it more effective. So what this is called the process redesigns in this continuum. Okay, so let's go through some examples so we can feel, we can understand how other people are doing process innovations. The typical examples that most people will talk about is Henry Ford's inventions of the world's fast-moving assembly line. So maybe I think we are talking about a case like more than 100 years ago. So you and me still not born at that time, but this is really a very classical example when we talk about process innovations around product manufacturing. So in the past, the process is actually for each single staff, they are responsible for assembling the whole vehicle. So they are, the process is everyone got all the different components, and then they are the single persons to assemble all the components together to make a car. And you can imagine this process can be can take a lot of times, and then different people may have different skills, so it is not consistent. So for someone, maybe it takes like 5 hours to make a car, someone's maybe 3 hours. So it is not very consistent. It may also, because of different expertise, maybe there are errors. There are a lot of human errors involved as well. So what Henry Ford does is that he introduced a new process. So each staff now is responsible for assembling only a single component only, and then a conveyor belt then transport the car along different staff. So each one is just responsible for installing one part. If, for example, I'm installing the wheel, so I just the car moved to me, and then I kind of like install the wheel, and then I make sure the wheel is secure, and then it will go to the next step. Someone will install the door, for example, for that. So this process is change not only simplify the assembly processes, but also it reduce the human errors. And do you know how much time it actually helps to reduce? It actually is able to bring in terms of producing a vehicles is from 12 hours to 90 minutes. So just by changing the way how we assembling car through these new processes, we save a lot of time. We save a lot of errors, and then definitely it means a lot of cost reduction as well. Okay, so this is a classic example of process innovations in terms of product manufacturing. So after a very classical example, I want to give you another example that is more recent. So there is a company called True Gloves it's a US company that is a shoes makers. So traditionally the manufacturing process for shoes making is that they will produce a lot of they will produce the shoes with different sizes. So the manufacturing process they will in the manufacturing process they make shoes for like large size, they make shoes for medium. Of course, the volume may be different. So usually more people will be in the middle of the normal distributions. So the amount of shoes with say the medium size or will be the quantity will be largest. They produce more for that, and then they produce some less quantity of like extra large or extra small. But the point is they need to create different sizes of shoes because they don't know finally what size the customer wants. Okay, so this is the traditional manufacturing process. And now this company introduced innovations on this process. So instead of they pre-made a different size. They actually have an app that you can install on your iPhone, and then you can use that app to measure the size of your feet. The app is so good, it can, like, if you follow the instructions, they will be able to capture the biomechanics of your foot, so that the data will be then sent back to the company to use to produce a customized, unique pair of shoes for you. So in this ways, from the customer's perspective, they are involved directly in the manufacturing process. They can make sure that the shoes are perfectly fit for them, right? And for the company, it can also be a cost saving. It can also be, make sure that when they produce the shoes, there are a real customers there. So this is also a win-win. It's actually a win-win situations for both the customers and the company. And of course, I think the key point is how they're able to develop their technologies. But by doing this, they basically they reinvent the process, make the process more effective for both the company and the end customers. So, and then let's talk about product delivery process then. So in the past, I think you have heard about Netflix, right? Netflix, everyone's know about that. Is now is online movie streaming service providers, but in the past they are not actually like this. They are physical stores. You can see these pictures. So they are physical stores in across US. Then they have all the Blu-rays or physical DVD in their shops. So the delivery process is you actually have to go to the shops. You select from different. You select the movies you want, and then you go to the cashiers to borrow them, and then after you finish, you have to go back and then return the disc. If you're late, then there will be late charges applied as well. They have another process is like you can ask them to mail that actually the disc to you. So they put it in the envelope, and then they add it. They include a return envelope as well. So they will mail that DVD to you. So this is how the movies are delivered to you in the past, in the old days. But now the process has changed, right? Because of the emerge of the internet technologies, because now the bandwidth for the internet is high enough, they can actually stream the movies through the internet. So this is a new way to deliver the same content to the customers, but it is definitely more efficient, convenient, and save a lot of time. The customers do not need to go to the shops, and the good things is they no longer need to worry about late charges. So there's no chances they can be late, because if the movies is went for like 24 hours, after 24 hours you cannot access the movie anymore. So you don't need to worry about that at all. So this prevents a lot of arguments. Sometimes there are a lot of arguments if late. People's will kind of like complaints, and then so they can save all these things by changing the process now through changing the process online. So this is a very good example of showing how innovative delivery process can improve the service, the customer experience. Another example I want to give you here is about the Zoom's in pizzas. This is a pizza company in the US, so you may not see it in Hong Kong. So the traditional process for pizza delivery is, you call the restaurant, you make an order, and then the pizzas was then made in the restaurant. Once it's finished, they will put it in a truck or put it in a motorcycle, and then the people will then travel to your home to deliver that to you. So what are the the pain points? What are the cons of doing this process? Is that um, you know it may take a long time from the point that the pizzas was made to the point that the pizza get delivered to you. If you're living very far away from the restaurant, then by the time you get the pizzas, maybe it's already cold, maybe it's you don't feel that it is hot, you don't feel that it is fresh anymore. So in order to deal with these problems, so another this Zoom pieces actually we invented the process delivery the pizza delivery process. So they have um, a van that's actually with a robotic arms installed in the van. So what they do is if you order pieces, they will calculate the time, how long it takes for the van to reach to your home. Say it may be 30 minutes to reach your homes. And if the pizza, the baking process of the pizzas take 20 minutes, they will start only like after 10 minutes of the journey. So they can make sure that at the point they arrive to your home, the pizza was just finished. So you can feel it is just freshly made, it is still hot. So you get the best customer experience. So this is a very interesting ways how they do that, how they deliver the pieces. I have a video as well to share how they do this in more details. So let me share it here.
At Zoom Pizza, people and machines work side by side in a cobot culture. Unique software predicts what kind of pizzas customers will order that day. Then the Zoom team prepares a daily inventory on its cobot assembly line. Pepe and Giorgio squirt sauce onto the crust. Marta spreads the sauce. Humans add the toppings. And Bruno moves the pie off the line and into the oven. Each pizza is par-baked, then moved to storage in Zoom's delivery truck. And that's when things get really interesting. A second algorithm pinpoints the service areas where a high density of orders will likely come from. And Zoom's trucks, loaded with computer-operated pizza ovens, head out. The par-baked pies are finished in the truck's ovens on the way to the customer's house. Automation frees Zoom's employees to do what humans do best: think, plan, dream, and create. Collins sources high-quality, locally grown ingredients from farmers in a 100-mile radius of Mountain View. Chef Aaron Butkus, formerly of Roberta's in Brooklyn, uses them to create artisanal masterpieces, like the sweet corn elote and the nachorizo. Online reviews have been solid. Zoom has a 4.5-star rating on Facebook and 4 stars on Yelp. Even with all the robots, Zoom has heart as well as smarts. The company has 86 employees with heartbeats, and all receive health insurance and benefits. They also receive tuition reimbursement and coding classes to train them for high-tech jobs in the new economy.
Yes, so I hope this company can come to Hong Kong. I really want to, try this out. So this is a very interesting way of how they innovate the pizza delivery process. Okay, so now let's talk about the support process, the product support process. So if you have subscribe some services like if you subscribe broadband services at your home. So from time to time there may be some issues that the service will not work anymore, right? And then what we usually do is we need to call the service desk, the hotline, and then someone will answer you and then try to investigate on the problems and resolve the problems for you. So this is a very typical product support processes. So human staff are involved, work in office hours to attend customers' queries and resolve the problems for them. So now this is now a lot of companies have actually start to migrate to a using AI-based chatbots to provide that services. So they have built a database of what are the typical problems, what are the solutions, and then customers can based on what customers types, they can kind of like have an intelligence to understand what you're asking, and then they find solutions in the database and then come it back to you. So this is yes, of course, this is still developing. This is still not be able to completely change. You still need human involvement as some point of the processes, but they are getting more and more successful. So this process is the benefits of this is definitely the organizations can provide much lower cost in the service support, and then it can be round the cost support to the customers. So even in the in the midnight, you can call and you can still get some support. So this is a new way to deliver support services. Then I want to talk about another cases that is more a personal experience as well. So I'm not sure if you have bought anything from Amazon's. So in Amazon's, just imagine you try to buy something, you see a product. So maybe you have some queries about the product before you buy it, or sometimes you bought it, but then something doesn't work or something doesn't work like what you expected. So you try to ask some questions. You try to see is there someone can help you, right? So typically the process for this is your queries are being directed back to the seller. So for if you buy it from Amazon, Amazon's may direct your queries back to the suppliers, and then the suppliers will look at your problems, get back to you, and then Amazon's will redirect the answers to you. So this is how it works. This is the typical process. It works okay in most cases, but then what I figured out is that actually they are introducing a new processes for these cases as well. Instead of just sending the queries or the questions to the suppliers, they are able to actually send those questions to other customers that have already bought this product before. So if I have a problem in using that product, the questions will be sent to someone that have been, that have brought that product from Amazon's before. So that person may know exactly how to do that. And then if the customers provide the solutions, then there will be some some points awarded to their account. So it is really a win-win situations, because I get a support from my existing customers. So usually the views or the answers from the previous buyers from a more from a customer's perspective. They see them as more reliable, more subjective, instead of that the seller may say everything works, but previous customers may tell you what actually works, what doesn't, and then they may give you like some solution they have tried and then able to resolve the problems. So this is really a very good process. Actually, it's a peer-to-peer support processes, and by doing this, the existing customers get some reward, and then for the new customers, they get a very timely and reliable feedback. So this is really a very good product support processes I want to talk about here. So yeah, so this is a lot of definitely there are a lot of process innovations. So I just share kind of like something that as an example. So if you have experienced any other process innovations, please share that with me. Maybe your cases will be introduced in this pack, maybe introduced in the next lecture for the next years. So yeah, if you have come across any very interesting ideas of how people innovate the process, please let me know. really happy to have a look at this. So finally, I also want to give you a video about a new process that Amazon has introduced a few years back as well. So they call it Amazon's Go. So it is a new process about how change the way how about your shopping experience, how you're being charged, how you order from the point that you choose the product to the point that you're being charged and you get delivered. This is a very interesting ways, and actually it has been introduced to Hong Kong as well. I see there are some locations actually start to try this idea. I'm not sure if you have a chance to try this out, but definitely this is a very interesting things that I would like to share with you here. So let me show you here.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
Yeah, okay. Sure, this is really a very fantastic shopping experience. If if they can develop that kind of like process, this is really a very big innovations. I hope we can have this very soon in Hong Kong as well. So this is basically the first part of the lectures. So we cover what is process innovations and basically some examples to give you a feeling of what process innovation is and then what are the benefits they could bring. At the end of this first part, I want to give you a quote that I think this is very meaningful for me, and especially around this topic, the process innovations. This is from a author C. Pratt that is he's talked about that the only way to discover the limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible. So meaning is that you always need to go into something that you unknown, you try it out, you never know if you don't try. So this is really the key for innovations, is to think big, and then you have to keep trying, and then don't be afraid of failures. So this is the key point and how you'll be able to do innovations. Okay, so thank you very much. This is the first part of the lectures, and then I would, after the break, I would have the second part of the lecture as well, which is we will talk about how to do process innovations. So see you shortly.